And welcome to another edition of East LA Sports Scene, our in-studio program coming to you from the Boyle Heights Technology and Youth Center located right here in East Los Angeles and just inside the Boyle Heights community. It's a very, very big pillar of education and inspiration here for our community. And this is, of course, the home of East LA Sports Scene in-studio. And here we are back. It's been about a month since we've had our in-studio show, but we're very, very pleased and very, very happy and very, very full of excitement to bring you a very, very good friend of ours, a young athlete, a young person who is on his career path and will do very, very well. And that is Anthony Denham, now of the Houston Texans of the NFL. And we welcome Anthony Denham back. In person to see us.
Thanks
How
for
you doing,
having
Anthony?
me again. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And here we are now. So much to talk about. A little bit of time.
Yeah.
You know, we had the luxury of a 2-hour program, but we're going to condense it as much as we can. But to get all the right points in, Anthony, and all the talking points that are very important at this point in your career, because football is your career. It is your life right now. But
turn into my life. It's a job, occupation.
Yes, and it's your career, and you have been blessed to be in the NFL.
Dream job.
The dream job. Here it is. Now, we're going to come back to that. We roll that out now because you're at the pinnacle of your career. But we've always used our program to inspire the young ones that are out there, because they will see themselves in you. At some point in their lives. And Anthony, let's roll the clock back, just if you don't mind, and tell our viewers and tell us how football became the passion in your life. There were some other sports because you were very gifted, but football seemed to have got that #1 spot. I'm
going to say, well, it all started, I'll say, 3rd grade. I went to Dewey Elementary in San Gabriel.
Okay.
I was on the flag football team with the 4th and 5th graders, and there's a few 6th graders, but at the time they weren't allowing kids, I guess, under the age of 9. But I just so happened to be good enough to play on that team, so they put me on the squad, and I ended up starting and being their main running back, and, you know what I'm saying, scoring a lot of touchdowns. So I fell in love with that, fell in love with the team aspect of it, and it just, it felt natural. Okay. I played other sports, but nothing felt as natural as football did for me.
Because in your career, at least in your high school career, basketball, track and field as well. Yeah,
those felt pretty good, but nothing felt like scoring a touchdown or blocking for someone or just having a team win. There's no other sport, a team sport I'd say that's out there that's like football. There's 11 men trying to get on one page.
Yes.
Rather than 6 men trying to stay on one page, or baseball. I haven't played baseball, so I can't really speak on that.
But again, there it was, that first spark ignited as they say, the fire within you and the passion to go with football. Now, take us from the elementary school, Anthony, the school days, to now a little bit more competitive, getting into either, was it Pop Warner?
Pop Warner, yeah. Okay. My first few seasons I played for the Pasadena Ponies. Okay. Then I played a year with the Panthers. Then I traveled over to San Gabriel and played a year out there. My 5th grade year, played for the San Bernardino Bears, and then back to Pasadena. So I've been, you know what I'm saying, to a few places, but Pop Warner is really, it started there. I played some DN back in the day. Okay. Yeah, before playing on the offense, so I felt like I was a defensive guy, but running with the ball and catching the ball was natural, so my coaches changed my position. And then in 2003, I'm going to say, I played with the El Sereno Stallions with Coach Martinez.
Yes.
Yeah, Steve Martinez. So we had a few athletes on that team. We didn't have a quarterback or anything, so I thought I'd play quarterback. I never done it before, but I had a pretty good arm, but I guess he had other plans for me. So he put me at running back, and that worked out pretty well. Okay. And, yeah, just started from there. That was in middle school.
And the coaches that you were playing under certainly saw the
potential.
In many positions, not just one, but many. Yeah. Okay. Now, while you're growing up, of course, and maturing, and your body is starting to, and you're growing, of course, as a youngster, there's also a home life for you. Yes. And some very, very important individuals were guiding you at that time. Let's talk a little bit about that, Anthony.
Well, back in, I'm going to say 03, when I did come over to El Sereno in 2003, I was placed into a foster home. My caregiver was Hilda Montano. She did a great job with me. Yes. She kept me in school. She kept my head focused and straight at line. She even pulled me away from a game, a huge game for me. Oh, my goodness. During playing against Belmont, I had an SC recruit there. So it was a big stage for me, but I guess she pulled me out to make a point that I still have to get other things done. Like, I guess I was slacking in school at one point.
Yes.
So that kind of made me snap out of everything and just pay attention and understand that there's more to life than football. But football was the goal that I always kept in the back of my mind. I knew that it was going to get me further. So by her doing that, I feel like she took a parental role by saying, like, hey, you're going to go by my rules and you're not going to make your rules as a child. So I think that kind of made me mature. You know, I was really upset, but I kind of got over it because I understood. What time I understood. I didn't, you know what I'm saying, get over it right away, but what time I understood what she did. So I give a lot of appreciation to Hilda for doing what she did and for taking me in and treating me as one of hers.
Yes, and being in the foster care system here, certainly in LA County and the city of LA, is quite a task.
Yeah, it's quite a task.
It's very difficult because it's not, as they would say, the normal situations of growing up.
Yeah, no,
changes.
Never expected it, and then to live with a Hispanic family, I never thought that was going to ever happen, but it did, and it gave me a broader, you know what I'm saying, perception of life, just seeing everything differently, and just get a better understanding of how people are and who people are. So. And
your story, again, is well chronicled and well publicized now for those viewers that want to know more about a very great article that was written about Anthony. You can check him through the website on Google, and there will pop up many, many articles. And I think the one that's really critical, really more informative of all would have been the LA Times or the Daily News.
The LA Times,
Yes, the LA Times did a very, very outstanding job there. Okay, and Anthony, let's now move from Pop Warner. And you're what now in the, would you make it the 8th grade or 9th grade, heading towards high school, correct?
Heading towards high school, yeah. So from there, did my little Pop Warner scene, then I went to Wilson. Went straight there, saw Coach Steve, saw him again, and I met Eddie. Well, I kind of knew Eddie Martinez before. He's a head coach for Wilson. So I kind of like got into the groove, all right, so there, I'm with some familiar faces, very comfortable. So I played for JV my freshman and sophomore year. Didn't really have a great freshman season, but backed it up with a great sophomore season, and then from there just skyrocketed. Steve Clarkson helped me out a lot. Steve Martinez set me up with a lot of those things. So I was doing things on the weekend to get me better prepared. I was in the weight room. They were pretty strict on us. I was in high school. They did a great job there.
Very disciplined.
Very disciplined at the time when I was there.
And now at this time, Anthony, the eyes of football reporters, media persons are taking a look at you at Wilson High School, and all of a sudden they're looking at a 6'4", 6'5" receiver. Who has skills and very gifted and can do many things with that football once it's in his hands. That had to give you a big boost in confidence. Tell us how that helped you continue even better things in your senior year at Wilson.
That helped me because teams knew who I was. They feared me on offense. They tried to put 2-on-1, and that didn't really do anything. So they gave me the confidence saying if they could stick 2 guys and it still doesn't work, then I should really feel confident going to every game, every Friday night. I should put on a show for people. And so that's what I did. I went out there and I handled my business, and I also played some defense. I let guys know I'm coming downhill. I hit a few people, got some interceptions for touchdowns, and I let them know I'm the real deal in high school. I didn't really get a lot of publicity, but my play and my performance shows that, you know what I'm saying, I was in the top tier for high school athletes, but didn't really get that shine. So, but I'm still very grateful for what I've done, and if I can rewind time, I wouldn't change a thing at all.
And again, that discipline that translated into the off time when you weren't in school, there were still things you were doing. And as Coach Steve Clarkson, also a Wilson High School
Wilson High School alumni,
quote unquote, he reminds me of a Randy Moss. So those kinds of, as they say, compliments and discernment from your coaches had to really give you that extra lift and competitive edge.
Well, definitely. I was out there every weekend for the whole summer. There's even a summer where we went up to Santa Barbara and hosted a top 7-on-7 type of thing where they had the top 7 quarterbacks in the nation for college and the top 7 quarterbacks in high school. So Matt Barkley was there for our senior year. Russell Shepard was there. It was a few guys from all over. That was the great athletes at the time, were great quarterbacks, and I was one of their receivers. And there were some college coaches there and some other guys that were out there. Kerry Colbert showed up. It was a nice group of guys. There was some other talent at receiver. So I got to learn how they ran routes. There's a lot of Division I guys that were going straight to to Division I, and I still had I was still lingering whether if I was going D1 or not due to my A through G requirements. But they knew at the time, like, oh, this kid from Wilson he's legit. He's a good receiver.
An up-and-comer. Keep your eye on him.
Up-and-comer, yeah,
now,
basically.
Let's kind of wind up as a Wilson mule, because that program and that school and that tradition is highly followed. There's a great alumni, as you know, from the Wilson Mules, who are, many of them probably at this moment watching you here on East LA Sports Scene, and it's a chance for you to also give back to those coaches and players even that helped you become that player you are today.
Yeah.
Any mentions that you'd like to give to them at this point?
I'd just like to say thank you to Eddie and Steve Martinez, Coach Mike on our defense. I say DB's coach, Coach Griff, of course, had us in the weight room and stuff. But I also give a shout out to Derek and Dylan. They played a good role as I was coming up in high school. The Martinez brothers. One was a running back, the other was a quarterback. He was a good quarterback to me. I liked him. I wish I would have had him, you know what I'm saying, for a whole season, but it is what it is. But I like Derek. Derek kind of gave me that tenacity. Because he ran with hunger. He played the game of hunger, and he really loved football. And I kind of was like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Coming from a coach's son, he's really, it was very, contagious. So just being around him, just grinding, watching him go through it, it's like, okay, this is what I have to do to get to the next level. So and that's what I did. Coach Griff set up our workout plans. I seen how he got it, and then I was trying to emulate that.
Okay. Now, before we leave Wilson and then go to our first break, Anthony, the accolades that you were merited with at Wilson. So when you were seeing your final season, All-City and those other kinds of accolades came in. Can you tell us what they were?
I was All-City for offense and defense at the safety position and receiver position. I didn't get no All-State awards because I wasn't ranked in, I guess, the state, or I didn't attend any camps. So that I was kind of like under the wire with that one. So
All Northern League for sure.
All Northern League for sure.
And the culmination of the playoffs that you
we went
games you had there at Wilson.
I had some great comeback interceptions, key interceptions for a lot of our playoff games. I was a great key to them, but we also had some great team effort and great teamwork. I'm going to say our defense showed up a lot, and that really helped us get to week in and week in, or just getting to higher levels in the playoffs. But my senior year, we went to semis. We didn't make it a city, but just getting that far with the team we had from the beginning to the end was great because none of them slipped off due to bad grades, and everybody was focused and in tune with the football. So
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Yes.
Here we go. We're going to break off just for a second, Anthony. Come back, because when we do, we now are going to follow you over to East Los Angeles College, which is another turning point in your life and in your career. So don't go away. We'll be right back. This is East LA Sports Scene. And continuing on with our in-person guest, in-studio guest, Anthony Denham, NFL player now with the Houston Texans. He's going into his second year. More about that later. We're not teasing you too much. We're trying to go from his story, and we're now right about the midpoint in telling it. And we now go from Wilson High School, Anthony, and you have to matriculate and get into college, of course, to get to that dream job in the NFL. Definitely. And let's tell us the story and the backstory about ELAC and East LA College.
Well, my senior year, I'm just kind of touching up with that. I was getting a lot of recruits coming in, coming to school, checking me out, saying great things. I even had Lane Kiffin come through to Wilson High School at the time. He was coaching at Tennessee. So I was a guy who, after my senior year, had, I guess, my stuff together, did everything right. I was that player that they were looking out for, and actually became who they thought I was. So when everything came in through, when said and done, and when I graduated, I didn't see any I had some offers, but I didn't get like a full ride anywhere due to my A through G requirements. So that kind of like messed me up with, I guess, receiving a scholarship. And a lot of teams told me that. They said, you're a guy that we definitely want to pick up, but since you don't have all the requirements through your high school, then you'd have to take the junior college route. So I kind of like was done with football. I kind of hung up my cleats and then applied to different universities. I even got accepted to Cal State LA, Northridge, and Long Beach. So there was a few times where I even went to Northridge to try to get my classes and sign up for dorm rooms and whatnot. And then it was just one week where one of the coaches from East LA, he was a new guy to East LA. He came from I guess Oxnard, California, which is a little down from Santa Barbara. He came and he was just real consistent
about Coach Garrett.
Coach Garrett.
Yes,
Coach Garrett. Coach Nick Garrett. He was really persistent with me. He came through. He called me every day. He was real consistent on him wanting me to be on the team, and he kept telling me, like, you have everything it takes.
Okay.
Don't give up. Don't hang him up so soon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Give it a shot after 1 year, and if you don't like it, then maybe you can transfer back to Cal State.
Yes.
So I said, that's not a bad idea.
Okay.
So signed up with ELAC. Missed, I say, the first 3 quarters of the first game. We played against Cerritos. Just because I attended late and I showed up late, so he wasn't giving me a spot right away. I earned that the second week, and from there everything just skyrocketed. I was a all-state receiver, all-American receiver, 2 years in a row. I was all academic at ELAC, and everything just was falling into place.
As well as a record breaker.
As well as records. I had 4 touchdowns in one game, most receiving yards in one game, receptions in one game. So everything was what he, I guess, put in my head that I can do everything that he said it was going to be done was done.
Yes.
And I feel like he was very consistent with that through helping me and instilling that in my head that it's going to be done whether you try or not, just on ability alone and potential. If I work at it, it's going to happen. But I also want to say I want to give a huge thank you to our college counselor, Dorothy Tiola.
Okay.
She set me up in all the right classes, all the right transferable classes. She didn't just put me in any class just to take so I can be eligible for the season.
Yes.
I really, really want to thank her for that because I know a lot of guys who received scholarships at different schools that didn't really leave at the time they were supposed to due to them having to retake a class that's transferable for certain universities or all the universities. So she set me up perfectly. Any class she gave me, I took, I passed, and I just want to thank her for that.
Well, Anthony, this shows a lot of character on your part because just from listening to you, the people that were interested in your future, you took the time and listened to them. They broke it down and you listened.
Yeah,
and
they invested
you took their advice.
They invested in me and I bought it.
There you go. And now look at the result. As
Exactly.
we continue, the freshman year, outstanding.
Outstanding.
Almost going to be very hard to top. But let's move now to your sophomore year.
Sophomore year, pretty much the same thing. Now I was on the radar for a bunch of teams. Kind of knew how I was scouting. So that put a huge challenge on me. I accepted every challenge week in and week out. I did what I had to do. My first game against the Glendale, I had 2 touchdowns, one of them with one hand. So it was a show. I tried to put on a show every weekend just to let teams know that same guy that they underlooked in high school is still alive and he's still here. So yeah.
Yes, bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Yes, because now your body is starting to really. You've grown pretty much into the body.
No 6'3", 190 kid.
No.
It was
6'4", 6'5", 230 now.
Yeah,
and speed and agility, and strength, and all those.
Exactly, and a better understanding of the game.
Yes,
I'd say I would turn into a student of the game. Got in the playbook, really understood the different gravitations and seeing the field, and it was a lot that I learned through junior college, and it really helped me for the next level. And
now, as leading by example, that is a good story for a lot of players who need to mature in that 2 years at a junior college, because the world is not over. It's not ended. It may just beginning by being part of that program and then moving on.
It's just them understanding that it's really up to them how far they go. They choose their own destiny. There's no handouts in life.
Right.
So by you taking that step and then taking the next step and you just eventually walking, that is going to set you up or set your future up for positivity or nothing but great things will happen from it. And
now the 2 years flew by at East LA College. The Huskies days are now over, you did well. You proved your point, made your point, and now you're ready for more of your education in college to get that degree, and then hopefully be drafted or get a chance to play in the NFL. Let's pick it up from there, Anthony. After your sophomore year, you're ready to go, and here's an opportunity to go to a 4-year college, Division I.
Took my opportunity, and I took my talents to Salt Lake City, Utah. I played for the University of Utah. That was a great experience there. Learned a lot more than what I thought I learned at ELAC, just through more film, more practice time, getting in the weight room. I say I really turned into the player I am today, working through what they put me through. So there's a lot, way more competition, I'd say.
Okay.
Everyone at that Division I level is pretty much on board. A talent level is pretty much average, or the same. I wouldn't say average, but pretty much the same across the board. So anyone can start any game at any moment. It's just how you keep your position or how you keep your job.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing for me, understanding like, hey, this guy is equally as good as me.
Yes.
Or I'm equally as good as him. If I do great this week, then I'm going to start this game. But if he does better than I, then he start this game.
Yes.
So that's really what it was.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the recruitment process, because that's so important. When they come talking to you and you're going to be really taken out of your comfort zone in L.A., and they want you to go up to Utah.
Yeah.
That's a big change. But the recruiting process and the coaches, tell us a little bit how that went and what made the final decision for you to sign at the Pac-12 level with the University of Utah.
Yeah. Just being a West Coast kid, I've always looked up to Pac-12, Pac-12 teams. I'm a fan of SC, been a fan since for a while, I'm going to say, since day one. That was my favorite college team. So I've always wanted to be in that competition, just to remain on the West Coast.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of talent in every team. There's week in and week out. There's a bunch of talent. There's teams that we grow up seeing, like Oregon, Oregon State, University of Washington, UCLA, Arizona. So just looking at those teams every weekend when I was a child, I was like, I definitely want to play in the Pac-12. That's where I can see myself. But I did take my opportunities. I visited Ole Miss in the SEC. Yes, I took a visit to Cincinnati. I checked out UCF, Central Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, so I took my visitors. I expanded, or I'll say I broadened my opportunities, and they all worked pretty well. But who really helped me make my decision was, I say again, Coach Garrett.
Okay.
We did the negatives and the positives with the teams, and we looked at everything and how it'll benefit me. So he helped me with that, and I guess the best beneficial one was to go to Utah.
And at University of Utah, would the head coach have engaged you and talked to you at some point?
Yeah, Coach Whittingham, he did a great job in recruiting me. Coach Aaron Roddick showed up. I say he was just as consistent as Coach Nick was, Coach Garrett was at the time when I was at Wilson to come to ELAC. So I'm going to say Coach Rod and Coach Garrett, I saw similarities in them because they kept coming. They kept calling me, making sure that I was all right, and just letting them know that, hey, they want me at this school.
Yes.
Yeah, so that just feeling wanted helped me make my decision.
Okay, and let's go to a little bit of a few of your highlights. As you mentioned, they can find a couple, at least several, on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of my highlights, well, some of my highlights are on YouTube.
Okay.
You can check out, say, the game my senior year against Utah State. You can check that one out. I have a highlight against Arizona. You can check out a few highlights from UCLA. Okay. So there's a few things you can check out on me that's on YouTube.
And being in the University of Utah, it's such a, how would you call it, a school that has every resource that you can think of. Again, academics, of course.
Yes.
But there are housing, there's your
meal plan,
meals and everything else and take care of.
Yeah.
So that had to give you a very, very good feeling of, hey, all my needs are taken care of. I'm going to focus on classes and then playing football.
Yeah, everything was right in front of me. You get to the facility, there's food there. There's protein there for after workouts. The weight room and the gym is right there. Coach Doug Elisai, the weight room coach, did a great job with the strength and conditioning wise. So everything that I needed was there. We had hours for study. So we had a bunch of study hall hours to get homework done. And it was everything was set up. All you had to do was follow what was set forward and planned and just get it done.
And Anthony, I want to take this moment for you to look into our viewership out there, those youngsters, as you know, where you were at one point, and really truly stressed the power of academics, what it meant to really stay eligible and stay in the classroom and then perform on the field every Saturday.
It meant a lot because looking back at Utah, at ELAC, I had great grades. Every team looked at that and they said, hey, well, this guy is easy to get. We can offer him a scholarship right now. He has every grade. We don't have to worry about him slipping or falling behind. And if he had classes that he needed to take care of, we know he can through just his previous grades and just checking, I'm going to say, my cumulative GPA. So they looked at that. Teams look at that. It's very important that you guys really just maintain your focus. Just get narrow viewed about how serious you are, because academically everything is set up for you through there. So if you don't have your academics, a lot of things won't happen. You have to take different roads, and the process it takes a lot more time to get things done. If you don't get it done the first time or attempt to even try, I'm gonna say a lot of kids, they just let things go by and they assume everything's gonna be all right when in reality, if they don't get it done now, who's going to do it for you? No one's going to do your homework for you. You will have tutors if you need the help. And you got to ask for things like that. And you're not going to know everything the first time it comes around, because I had to ask a bunch of questions. And I had my own math tutor in college and whatnot. So that really helped me out a lot academically, just having that extra help.
And at the end of your playing career, your academics jive together, and then there's, as they say, the graduation, and then those things that the degree is now bestowed upon you for putting in the work in the classroom.
Exactly. So now I have my AA degree and I have my bachelor's degree, and when I'm all said and done with football, I want to try to get a master's.
Oh, and you took that bachelor in
sociology.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're going to stop there for a second pause and come back, because now we're going to go into your true profession, what you do for a living. And we're speaking with Anthony Denham right here on East LA Sports Scene, our in-studio guest. Very, very special moments here, because Anthony will be basically one of the first players from the community, East Los Angeles City, East LA a community college, or ELAC, of Wilson High School, and then, of course, Utah Utes in the Pac-12. But now we're going to pick up the story when we come back, as he enters his second year in the National Football League, the NFL. We'll be back. This is East LA Sports Scene. And here we are now, closing in towards the end of our program. But before we do, we promised we would speak to Anthony about his career and his true profession right now as a professional football player in the greatest league of all time, the NFL, the National Football League. And we left off at our break speaking about the transition that Anthony would have to make from a Utah Ute to a Houston Texan. And one big, gigantic leap. And he was ready for it. You've heard him speaking very, very positively about the passion in his life, the mentors, of the individuals, the care providers, anyone that was interested in helping Anthony Denham. He certainly listened and took their words to heart, and as a result, the National Football League. And Anthony, let's go back now and pick up that story, going from college now to the NFL.
Just picking up from there. Well,
okay.
After the season, my head coach, Coach Kyle Whittingham at Utah, received, I guess, mail from the NFL Combine stating that they wanted to invite me. So I was at home one day, and he called me. He was like, "Hey, I got some great news for you. Will you be able to come up and speak to me?"
Sure.
I said, "Sure, I have. I have time. I'm done with class." So I'll head up there to his office, because I got some great news. You're headed to an NFL Combine if you want to go. Oh. I was like, "Why not? Like, let's do it. Let's go." And he was like, "But it's for tight end." So it was like a little curveball he threw me, but I was still excited at, as just getting invited to the Combine, because that's among some of the elite college players that are offered just the opportunity to get an extra opportunity to get looked at for the NFL and for other scouts that are, looking at you. So just getting that helped me a lot. Mentality changed about football.
Yes.
I became very happy and just excited about it. So it made me want more. It made me want to train harder and just get in tune about everything. Just that really excited me. And
even though the NFL is calling you, maybe not at the position you played in college, in high school, and junior college as a wide receiver, tight end, but you hear the NFL behind.
They still seen me playing. They still see my potential playing at the highest level. So that just boosted some confidence in me and just made me feel like, wow, they are watching. And good. The guardian angels are hovering all around you and taking care of Anthony Denham, and you're blessed to continue on with your passion. And now, let's go to the Combine. I had a great Combine. Put on some pounds. When I graduated, I was 219. Weighed in at 235 in February. So at the Combine, I had a great 40 time. Caught every ball that was thrown to me, and I did what I had to do. I took the opportunity and kind of ran with it. Yes. So just having that blessed me and boosted I would say my scouting with other teams, and just them looking at me gave them an extra opportunity to see how I would do on the field, route running and catching the ball. And I think they're very impressed with it.
And let's talk about that combine, because the eyes of the scouting world and of all NFL folks, they're there. And of course, Houston is there, principally to watch you. And as they say, the 40-yard dash, that's
important.
Always the most important of all the drills that they ask you to perform. But give us the whole slate of what they looked at, Anthony, for viewers to know what a combine really consists of.
The combine assists, I guess, the players and the coaches with just different views on the player. It gives them see how they would work through adversity. You go run a lot of routes. You train and prepare to run your fastest 40-yard dash, and it tests you to be at your best at everything you do, because there's other players there who are, I guess, interviewing for the same job you're going for. So you'll have 20 other, 30, 40 other players who are auditioning for the same position that you're looking at.
Yes.
And it just puts you at a higher competitive level of saying, like, hey, I got to get this done. And I got to be better than so-and-so, or I got to be better than that person, or I can't slack off. I have to be at my best every rep I get. So the combine, I say initially, it helps players and coaches get a better insight of who they want to grab. Yeah.
So route running.
Yes.
The 40-yard dash.
Catching ability.
Catching, blocking, maybe vertical,
broad jump,
strength,
vertical. Yes. Bench press.
Okay.
Different little tests to see how you do and where you place with all those other people.
And would that be a course over 2 days, was it?
Yeah, it's a 2 day. No, actually a 3-day process.
Oh, okay.
There's other things I go through it. Go to it like interviews, drug tests.
Sure.
Things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, was a member of the Houston Texans been able to speak with you or talk to you?
Yeah, it's basically an opportunity for all 32 teams to really look at each player individually, to see how they each fit in their schemes, or see how they can help their team win. So it's not really just one team specifically. It's really just a broad point for all teams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and then once the combine is over, the next phase starts.
The next phase starts draft day. I didn't get drafted. I'm a free agency contract with the Houston Texans.
Okay.
They gave me opportunity. They seen the potential I had at the combine, and they trusted me. They called me and told me that we think that you'd be a great asset to the team, that we think that you can help, and they gave me the opportunity, and I really appreciate them for that, and I've been grateful ever since.
And signed you to a 3-year contract, correct?
Yeah, well, I worked up through it. I was on the practice squad at first, and then they seen that I was getting better week in and week out, so brought me up to the active roster, and I played my first 4 games actively as a rookie.
Okay. And again, at the NFL, as they say, when you look at the teams, the team page, they'll see your position as a tight end and special teams. Let's talk how that happened as well.
Well, I'll say it started in preseason. I had a block punt that really kind of put me on the map and made a great block punt.
Yes.
But through the whole preseason, I think I did a great job with learning, say, my routes and the different concepts of everything, and kind of picked up what they're putting down, basically. So they seen that, and they trusted me, so they brought me up. The head coach called me and told me that I earned the right to get brought up, and that's how it happened.
Okay. And now season number 1 as a rookie is in the books.
That
was 2014, and the Texans, again, as they would say, we're in the mix of the season, but maybe not in the playoff picture, correct?
Well, we're close to it. Well, I guess I wouldn't speak as far as the playoffs. Just making the team and just playing until that opportunity comes. But for now, we're just focused on getting better ourselves as a team, and just beating our first opponent.
Okay, and now that leads right into your second year now for 2015. You're, of course, on break now between the seasons, but pretty soon you have a whole new agenda that will start for you. You'll go back to work.
Back to work. So right now, off-season training. You can never take a day off because someone else is definitely working. So you can never really take that day off just having that in mind. And it's an everyday thing. It's very competitive. Very competitively. So you got to think competitively.
Yes.
You got to wake up early, you got to grind, and then you got to go to sleep and do it again. It's a process that you get used to, so it becomes routine.
Yes. Okay. And speaking about Anthony's second season, it's about that time, as we said, to go to work. And very soon, Anthony, you're going to be having to pack up and head back to work. Tell us how that's going to work now.
We report July 31st, and it's about to get rolling from there.
Okay.
Season time, preseason. So.
All right. And wow, we've spent just it seems like an hour, but it's a little less than an hour speaking with our in-person guest, Anthony Denham. And believe me, we could go on for another at least 30 minutes just to really get in depth. But because of that enemy on the wall there, that clock, we must break off the interview and put it into our books here as another wrap here for our in-studio program featuring Anthony Denham, the pride of Wilson High School, East LA Community College, and University of Utah, and now the Houston Texans. We want to thank you very much, Anthony, for coming in and giving us the time. We've always been very open to us whenever East LA Sports Scene has asked you to speak with us, whether it's been at Utah or even East LA College. You were always there for us, and we thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity to really be heard, and I guess just my point of really getting out there and really achieving your goal and just shooting for it and going for it. So, yeah.
And that's it. The words of wisdom right here from Anthony Denham. May you be blessed for a very long career in the NFL, doing what you love to do, and at the same time leading by example. We thank you so much, Anthony, and good luck to you and also your extended family and your immediate family.
Yeah, thank you.
We want them also to share in your wealth and your abundance.
Thank you.
Take care, and we will see you hopefully somewhere in the NFL as your career continues to blossom. Okay. All right. That will do it for this edition of East LA Sports Scene. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time for our new edition of East LA Sports Scene in studio coming up in a very short time. Take care, and we will see you soon. Remember, football is just around the corner. And also to our viewers, as we leave you with our plea for health, make sure you can get to one of these sports if you're sports-minded. If not, if you're a jogger, a walker, it does not matter. Make sure you get that cardio going and stay in shape. Remember, stay healthy. In the end, you will be wealthy. We'll see you on our next edition.